Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Layback Gamer, and we're back with another video. I'm not sure what it is, but it is bound to be, hopefully, a very exciting one. So yeah, we're back. And, well, you read the title, so you know exactly what we're going to be doing. So, if you like the video, leave a like. Maybe even consider subscribing if you really like the video. Ooh, that'd be very nice if you did. And, well, yeah, so go on, grab some food and a beverage, maybe not one that's that fancy, sit back, and enjoy the show.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Layback Gamer, and we are back with some more StarCraft Mass Recall. And in today's episode, we're taking on 5A of the Zerg campaign, Enslavers Zerg campaign, Heart of Darkness. Now, I've already seen a little bit into what I'm going to be up against, so I have a rough idea what the mechanics are, as well as what we need to do, and specifically what things we've lost. So we're gonna hop right into that. Oh, excuse me. After barely escaping Samir Duran's creation, a Zerg Protoss hybrid, Kerrigan fled Ire with the few Zerg she had in control from the area. The Queen of Blades had became disturbed and moreover frustrated that Duran had not only survived the past Brood War, but that he had been secretly manipulating the dominant forces of the sector to go to war with each other in order to hinge the balance of power. In the resulting chaos, Duran was able to run his hybrid experimentations unopposed and unnoticed by all. Having put a safe distance between Ire and herself, Kerrigan, although having her standing Zerg forces greatly diminished, refused to return to Char, while her old consort ran amok, creating his perverse army for unknown means. He began heading towards the psionic signal, now familiar to her, belonging to these hybrids of Duran's, in order to hunt down their creator and his dark plans. Meanwhile, Ethan Stewart's Zerg, having been tracking Ulrajah's vessel since it left Ire, finally arrived on the secret Dark Templar world of Helin. Although curious, Ulrajah was nowhere to be found after seemingly vanishing on his arrival. Although odd, such a large creature could leave his sight, Stewart quickly discovers a temple of Protoss Dark Templar origins. Perhaps here was the location of Ulrajah, though they thought Zamara would go for safe refuge. Oh, sorry, I've read that. I get it now. He began to set up a small hive cluster just outside to prepare for an invasion against them. Oh wait, I missed something. Hold on a second. We gotta return back to the menu. Alright, so I forgot about the interlude. Let's go ahead and get that going. Full story, long story, skip to next mission. We're not taking this because some information is going to be missed out. We're gonna go the full story. I'm going to have a lot of reading to do. Meanwhile, Jacob Ramses and the Protoss Preserver Zamara within his mind were transported to a frozen, unnamed world after the Protoss on Shakuris redirected the warp gate on Ire. While they could not travel to the Dark Templar world, Zamara thought back to a conversation she had while she was still within her own body with a particular Dark Templar, Zeratul, and believed that he would be capable of helping them. Activating the warp gate there, they journeyed to a place once mentioned by Zeratul to be his private sanctuary. That by some chance, he may be. It's gonna be a lot. Rosemary Dahel, after jumping through the warp gate on Ire, was transported to Shakuris, where many Protoss there did not trust her. Dahel tried desperately to convince them to rescue Ramses and the preserver he carried. However, Dahel was quickly imprisoned in order to interrogate her and her intentions. Soon after, she met Executor Celindus, who elected to believe her after she read her mind, but said the hierarchy had to be consulted for their decision. She would champion Hal to the hierarchy and to her former teacher, Hierarch Artanis. Oh, nice, he's become the hierarch since then. And Valerian Manx, now equipped with a fleet twice as large as before from the Dominion, began heading to an unknown world to them, following Olwajar's departure from Ire. Jacob Ramsey's arrival Zeratul Sanctuary, Unknown World. Zamara, what? The tumors are getting worse. You're beginning to feel the effect of the pressure they are putting on your brain. Well, at least I get to kneel over in a beautiful place. I will do everything in my power, use all my knowledge to keep you alive and safe, Jacob. I know. The vessel is of Dark Templar design. I do not know if it belongs to Zeratul, but seeing it here is a promising sign. Let us see what we can learn. I know more about the Dark Templar than most Protoss, both their origins and their current status. I am accustomed to knowing almost everything, and this is new. I look forward to learning. What? You're stealing this ship? I have programmed the vessel to scan for any Protoss life forms. There are none within several hundred kilometers, and as I told you, the vessel has not been operated for many months. I suspect that this ship, located in such close proximity to the warp gate, is waiting for its pilot to return from his or her travels beyond the gate. Well, that makes sense, but what if he comes back and his ship's not here? Why then, it will be necessary for him to make contact with us, and that is precisely what we wish to happen, is it not? Rosemary Hal and Fartinol, the Daylong Council holding room, Chakuris. Protoss protocol moves at a glacier pace. I must agree with you, Rosemary. I have spent the last 4 years on Ire, where sometimes a fraction of a second meant life or death. There was no option for hesitation or slow deliberation, not even among the Tal Darim, where we were somewhat safer than our brethren on the surface. Safer, of course, being a relative term. We did not need to fear the Zerg, only our own Zavitzor. Rosemary and Hal, they will see you now. Let's do this thing. Vartzil, you are also requested to appear. But I am no one important. Why would they want to see me? Because you know firsthand what Olwajar did to those who followed him, and because you have chosen to support Rosemary, your experience is important in their decision. It is my greatest hope that that nothing I bring to this meeting jeopardizes your chance of recovering Professor Ramses. I know, but hey, you could be a great help too. Let's just find out, okay? Are you ever going to tell me what's going on, Zamara? I hope to be able to, Jacob. You've earned the right to at least know what it is you're being asked to perhaps die for, but I must wait until we find Zeratul or someone else who can help us. That could be a long wait. Trespassers and thieves, who dares violate my sanctuary? Zeratul, my old friend, it is I, Zamara. You once told me of this world, though not its name. I've come seeking your aid and wisdom. Zamara, it is you, and yet it is not. There's another mind by the void. It is human. We are in the place you spoke of so long ago, by the rushing water. Come to us, and I will tell you more about why I am here, and what we seek from you. I would you who had not come here, old friend. Mara, he will help us, won't he? I have no doubt that he will. Zeratul is not one to run from the truth, no matter how unpleasant or difficult it may be to face. He is indirectly responsible for the destruction of fire, but he accepted his part in that and strove to do what he could to save the rest of his people. What? Zeratul destroyed Ire? I thought it was the Zerg. Why is it that recently I seem to be to become entangled with humans? Maybe you need a little comic relief. I had thought Raynor a remarkable, perhaps unique representation of the Terran race, and yet, behold, when I come to my secluded place to think and reflect, I am greeted by a human who holds a Protoss preserver in his head. Mara, how is it I find you here? My body is dead and decomposed, but my will and spirit lives on. Your will is admirable, Zamara, but I do not know that you have come to the right Protoss for aid. Zeratul, I don't know exactly what Zamara told you, but there's a lot at stake here. We really need your help. I did not come here to help you, human, and I do not know that I could, even if I wished. Zamara knows. This is my sanctuary. I did not ask you to invade it, and I'm not pleased to see you here, Preserver. You bore witness to my failing once before, and it is now recorded in your memories for all generations to know. I, Prelate Zeratul, was the one who told the Zerg where to find Ire. The blood of all those who fell is on my hands. You didn't necessarily tell them, the information got pulled from you. You destroyed the Cerebrit, killing it permanently. You used the void what the void had taught your people. You did something we could never have done without you. You know, it is not your fault that in that moment your thoughts were made known to the Overmind who plotted the location of our homeworld. I well know I would never have destroyed Ire intentionally, and yet betrayed it was, and so many died. I must live with that. That and other things. Some of the things I have seen and some of the deeds I've done, Zamara, are darker and colder than the void itself. And all the rationality in the universe and reason cannot expunge or be purged. Perhaps you're right, Zertul. I came seeking a Protoss of wisdom and insight. That is Prelate Zelatur I sought. Instead, I find before me a shadow of that being, one who is more concerned with his own pain and guilt than the future of his people. I have seen arrogance in our people before in the actions of the Conclave. I never thought to see it in a Dark Templar, least of all the Protoss I had come to admire as the best the Dark Templar had to offer. Arrogance, you do not know of what you speak. Even with all you had seen Preserver, I think you would, if you had bore witness to what I have, you'd be less judgmental. Perhaps, but you are too consumed by your own self-pity and what you have labeled your shame to confide in me. It is well you are here, Zeratul. I cannot think it in your present state you would be of any use to our people on Shakuris, or indeed, use to Jacob or myself. Jacob and I have come for Ire, where we watched others die protecting us and the information I bear. Our passage to Shakuris has been blocked. I know not where to turn now, but rest assured, until you can conduct yourself better, it shall not be to you. If anyone knows where to turn tomorrow, it is the Preserver. You will find aid, but you will not find it here. Take the atmospheric vessel that brought you here. You have already stolen it from me. Take it to the gate and be gone. We shall depart, but this is a small world, Zeratul. If you will not deal with us now, you must do so later. Templar Adjudicators Kalai Dark Templar, thank you for assembling here today to acknowledge the petitioner. He has traveled far and endured much, and stands before you respectfully ask to pay heed to her request. She is Terran and female, but beside her stands a Protoss who has willingly chosen to stay with her, based entirely on what he has endured. What they know, you soon will know. I believe their request is to be a true and honorable one. I am Tebranus of the Phoenix lineage. I see one of my own stands before you. That speaks well of you. Cross the hall to Uran of Origia. Their ancestral tribe color is orange. Continue to alternate until you have reached Artanis at the end. Remember, something, something, something. Came from Ire. Our people fought well, I'm not surprised, but You do not come here proposing to return and take back our world from the Zerg or Ulrajah. No, that's not my idea to suggest. I'm here to ask you to help Jake and Zamara. Rosemary DeHal, it has been some time since the Protoss encountered your people. I understand Executive Selindis has informed you of the last time we encountered a Terran female. Yeah, I know about Kerrigan. May I respectfully remind the Hierarch, however, that the first time humans encountered a Protoss, you guys incinerated one of our worlds without so much as a by your leave, and yet my friend may die trying to help you. The female has a point. Lindis has informed us all of what she has attained with speaking to you, and those who accompany you. Yet we would know this directly from you. Where to begin? Why is there a fire bat up there? Well done, Rosemary. Thoughts are richer and swifter than words. Your thoughts are vibrant. You are more eloquent than I or many others expected. Well, I guess that's good. Preserver is precious to us, all of us. Even the Dark Templar can appreciate the knowledge she houses. We are a people still reeling from what has transpired 4 years past. Preserver in our midst now could only be a boon. Wait, don't you have preservers here? They were ever rare. When the Zerg overran our world, much was lost. Millions of Protoss died. Doubtless among them were preservers. Some may have been killed when the Conclave was destroyed. Others are likely scattered. Do you think every Protoss in the universe is gathered here on Shakuris now, Rosemary DeHale? So you don't know where the other preservers are? Always. There was at least one with the Conclave. To have one by my side now would be invaluable. Mara died fleeing Ulrajah's assassins. That her essence is even around it all is sheer luck and entirely due to Jake. She said she was one of the last. What if Ulrajah got to all the others? Good God, people, what if she's the last one? Not grow insolent, human. Listen, I know you all don't want Zerg here or Ulrajah or anyone who might cause harm to the Protoss. I fought Zerg myself, I know what they are. I saw what they did to your world, but you have to find Zamara. She knows too much that can help you right now for you to not. And I would ask you to help Jake. Because of him that Zamara survived this long. He's earned your help. Vartanil, your thoughts are welcome here. You stand by this human and support her request to seek Zamara and being the one who houses her. Speak of this and of the nightmare that is our old enemy, Ulrajah. Whoa, wait a minute. You already know about Ulrajah? We do indeed. Shortly after we scoured the Zerg from Shakuris, we encountered him for the first time. He was not nearly as strong then. From what you have told us, he is now has the unheard power of 7 Dark Templar assassins. So Zamara told us. He attempted to attack Shakuris by positioning an orbital station that emitted powerful energy waves that disrupted our communication and drained Shakuris' energy shields. Spiritual, a friend to the Ire Protoss, and the one who offered us sanctuary on Shakuris, tried to convince Ozar that his old hatreds were best laid aside. By then, Ulrajah had already merged with 3 other Protoss and become the most powerful Dark Archon Dark Templar had ever created. Or, you had it easy. So it seems that is grievous knowledge. Unfortunately, at the end, he eluded us, and now we know where he's been hiding, at least some of what he has been doing. This monster, our benefactor, attacking his own people in a time of war. How could we have been so misled? Do not berate yourself one moment longer. Olberjar was clever and strong enough to escape us when he was but 4 Dark Templar. That he was clever enough to create the Sun Drop and dupe those who remained on Ire when he had the brilliant power... No, didn't read that. Once the Zerg overran our beloved Ire, he again permitted Dark Archons to be created. Their devastating weapons, certainly, their wildness and uncontrollability was the price we paid for the damage they caused our foe. But ordinary Darkons do not last for long. I do not wish to become what Olberjar has. To learn that he has grown yet even more powerful is horrifying. What dark knowledge he has attained, and from where hence he was able to continue not be ripped apart by the very power that made him. Rosemary was the first one to have anyone to break free of the Sun Drop. She has proven herself to me, and Jacob Ramsey would be remembered in Protoss history as one of the greatest allies we ever had. Mara thought so too. She was willing to let an awful lot of people die for this secret she harbors. Some of these people were friends of mine. Now, unless your preservers have a history of being selfish and egotistical to an insane degree, which I don't think is the case, then yeah, I would do the risk. Yeah, I do think the risk would be worth it. How dare you tell us what to think? You are in no position to demand anything. Peace, Oran. The Terran female merely states her opinion, which should carry no weight whatsoever in this council. There are too many opinions here already. We are like beasts trying to pull a vehicle in several different directions. We'll get nowhere. Rosemary to him, I am so very sorry. There are people who strive so hard for unity, and yet it just seems it is forever eluding us. Zeratul, my old friend, together we've survived the destruction of Ire. We both love the noble Tassadar, who gave his life to defeat the enemy and keep his people alive, to offer the sanctuary of your world when all seem lost for. I bid you silence, Preserver. This is a lot of talking. I will not. I cannot be silent. I have the memories of so much horror, and yet so much courage, that of Tassadar and a doomed chief of them. I know you are great of spirit. You made errors. All living beings do, Zeratul. It is arrogance of the highest degree, do you think? Again you reprimand me and with charges of arrogance when you know nothing of what I have done. You will leave this place immediately. Leave me to my meditation and my pain. It is mine. It does not belong to you. No, you shall not leave. Be that as you wish, then. I shall go. Well, that could have gone better. Indeed. We will try again tomorrow. Is very stubborn by the looks of it. How much time has passed since this? Okay then, I'll tell you about how I got Namaka and found Zamara. It's pretty boring. That is for me to determine. Unfortunately, funding ran out before I could find anything to prove my theories that there was something more to the place beside what immediately apparent. But it's those theories that started attracting attention, both good and bad. Lots of people started calling me a crackpot, but it was my work and my publication of these theories that attracted the attention of Valerian Mengsk. Yes, Emperor Arcturus' son. He sent me an invitation to work for him while I was on Gelgaris, Full funding, the state-of-the-art equipment, and a promise of something. I see, so the heir to the Dominion plucks you out of obscurity with no warning. How very boring this story is. It was only later that I found out I wasn't Valerian's first choice. There had been other teams sent already. It seems that a hollow area in the temple, a chamber that Valerian desperately wanted to get into. None of the other teams had figured it out. I did, but I started down the path by sheer luck. I quite literally falling on my something. Happy accidents have been responsible for more glorious discoveries than you can imagine, Jacob. When you achieve more than falling on your rear. That is how I had found the doorway, complete by accident. Fell through 2 tunnels and landed right at the door. I saw the writing in blood. That's where I knew I was onto something. I realized that while I might not be the first to know about the chamber and try to break into it, I was the first to get a real crack at solving this puzzle. Mara did not make it easy. Indeed, I did not. I assumed that only a Protoss who was profoundly knowledgeable and spiritual would comprehend the message I had left. And yet, even though he could not read it, Jacob was able to open the door. I figured that in the end, it wasn't about thinking like a human or even a Protoss that would get me anywhere. It was about thinking on a grander, more universal scale. And that is when I saw the spiral in the fossil. It came to me. Rosemary and I, though, found the wrecked ship and Zamara. So I guess that's it. What of the female? Rosemary, she went through the gate before we did. She went with the other Protoss to Shakur's. When we tried to go through, we found that we were redirected. Zamara guessed you might be here, so here we are. Perhaps the female is responsible for your being unable to reach Shakur's. No, Rosemary the Hill is not a traitor. Not all Terran females are like Sarah Kerrigan, Zeratul. I would think you would know that. The Dark Templar have ever deemed females to be equal to males. Was it not your own faction led by Rashagal? Rashagal, I know her. I mean, I saw her in the memories. She was a rather lively girl. She's your leader. That's... not mention her name to me. This, then, is what you suffer from your joining with Samara. Yeah, sometimes it's like this. Most of the time it's just a dull ache. Like I said, I know Rashagal. I'm sure she's an excellent leader. Was an excellent leader. What is it? Rashagal was an excellent leader. Was. I'm sorry. What happened to her? I killed her. My pride killed her. You killed her? Yes, by my own hand I murdered our beloved matriarch. In God's name, why? Because she asked it of me. She was ill? Was she ill? Wounded beyond healing? In a manner of speaking, yes. Rashagal, our beloved matriarch, powerful and wise, was being used to betray our own people. Used by one so cunning and unscrupulous to this day. I cannot fathom the depths of that mind. Ulrajaz. No, though I'm intrigued as to how you know that name. That is a question for another time. No, I do not refer to Ulrajaz, but to Sarah Kerrigan, the Queen of Blades. She who had once been human and is now the leader of the Zerg. Samara and I were just once discussing her. From what I understand, Zerg turned her into one of them. They infested her, but somehow did not destroy her individuality. Kerrigan came to us seemingly in good faith, proposing a plan that would aid the Protoss and Kerrigan both. But even before she arrived on our world, Kerrigan had gotten to Rashagal and perverted her will. It was all a trick, a ploy. Kerrigan planned to turn on us the moment she got what she needed. We would never have listened to her at all, no matter how reasonable she sounded. Had it not been for our own matriarch urging us to do so, Kerrigan knew that was the only way to get what she wanted from us. She kidnapped Rapshagal, and I managed to rescue her. It was only my matriarch's powerful will that enabled her to speak as herself for me. In that moment, as she died, Kerrigan knew that I believed I could free her from the Zerg's queen's influence. But in the end, I was mistaken. I could not liberate her, at least not that way. Death was the only freedom I could grant to one I respected with all my heart. And in that moment, she thanked me. You have freed me from her vile control at last. You have always served to honor me. Thus, I must ask you. No, do not say those words. I must ask you to watch over my tribe, Zeratul. To your hands I give the future. I thought Kerrigan would kill me. I expected it. I planned on it. Instead, she praised me, calling me a worthy warrior. She said she had already taken my honor. She was going to let me live because every waking moment would be torture. Because she knew that I would never be able to forgive myself what she forced me to do. That, Kerrigan said, would be the best revenge she could ever imagine. You shouldn't let her win like that. Watch what you say, human. Kerrigan was wrong. She didn't take your honor. You let her take it. Kerrigan didn't force you to do what you did. Sure, she set up the situation. It was a horrible one, but you decided what to do about it. You chose to kill Rashagal. Don't blame Kerrigan for that. Well, it is kind of her fault, to a degree. You didn't lose your honor, you kept it. Rashagal was at peace with what you did. You do not know my matriarch. How dare you speak of her? But I did know her in a way. I was the Vetress, and Vetress knew Rashagal. And that girl, that gut-spotted little spider, was proud of who she... I'm not going to read... I can't read all that. I'm much too slow to be able to read all that. Oh, wow, that line at the end, that's a gut punch there. Her last words were a duty you're failing to discharge. You're letting her down big time. She asked you to watch over her tribe. She puts the future in your hands, and right now you're just sitting on my individual future and that of your people. If Zamara's hints are right, the entire universe is ticking past while you sit here on this out-of-the-way planet, feeling sorry for yourself. You want to be Rashagal's legacy? Leave now and do not return. Harsh words, but Ramses is ultimately right. Hierarch, may I address the council? Of course, Celindus. I was the first in a position of authority to be informed of the humans' arrival, along with other evacuees from our homeworld. I have never attempted to hide my feelings. On the contrary, I'm proud of them. None here assembled can question my devotion to my people, nor my desire to help. It is said that nothing can be hidden, forever hidden. If it wishes to be found, that the lessons not learned the first time around will come again until we accept them. So it is with this situation now. The lesson craves to be understood and embraced, and the secret, once unspoken, strains to be shared. Those who knew it kept their silence, believing that it would not serve them nothing and harm much to speak of it. At the time, that may have been true, but no longer hierarch. The attack on Shakuris was not the first time we encountered Alwajab. We found him and his consort shortly before then, when we sent a small fleet of Protoss on a rescue mission to Ire. You knew there were survivors on Ire? Why did we not send a larger fleet? So many could have been saved. We were investigating what we thought was a slim chance to recover a handful of individuals. We came expecting to find only 3 Templar who had survived because they were in stasis cells. When we saw the reality on Ire, Zeratul and I agreed that it would serve us nothing to mount a larger rescue mission. In the end, it was my decision, Cylindus, to not rescue our brethren, and to keep a word of it silent. Our people are dying there. You have told us that we do not have enough strength to fight the Zerg to recover our world. You led us believe that there were no survivors to save. We expected to only find those who had been laid in stasis cells. We were shocked and stunned to discover more had survived on the planet. And yet, even while we were there, we could see that the Zerg were still rampaging across Ire, overwhelming them, slaughtering even as we watched too few in number to save them. Even if we'd sent a rescue mission, we had no reason to believe that they would, by the time we would reach Ire, there would be anyone left to rescue. It is true. No one could have known that the Zerg would stop targeting us. No one could have known that it would find a benefactor. To discover that there's so many left and that they have endured for so much these 4 years, I do not think there is one among us who is unmoved by that, particularly those who have known some survived and believed you to simply be walking dead. I understand your decision, Hierarch. Oh god, more text. We must focus on the present, for the past cannot be changed, though I wish it could be. I wish greatly could be. Ulrajah has resurfaced to prey up the remains of those left behind on Ire. But to what end? And what does he want with the Preserver? What does she know that has shaken so vastly powerful being? Our only clues to find what Vartanella and Rosemary can tell us. And that, my fellow Protoss, is insufficient. It is clear to me that the stars were glimpsed from Ire on a cloudless night. That what we must do. Ulrajah may have indeed fallen upon Ire under the combined attack of the Dominion Protoss and Blood. We must not let him succeed. He has murdered many Protoss, used them for his own unknown ends. Shall we sit idly by and let him do the same to a Preserver? Put an end to a line that has existed since the arrival of the Xel'Naga? Permit that song to be forever silenced? All that knowledge eternally lost? And perhaps worse still, shall we permit a Terran male who did not ask for this burden, and yet who has done all that he could to support a Preserver, to die alone and in pain, because we are too afraid to go to his aid? Protoss are afraid of nothing. You know as well that Argiriga has stood and ready to mount an assault to reclaim our homeworld. That is not a question of fear or of pride, but practicality. Even if we agreed that this Jacob Ramsey and the Preserver he hosts are to be rescued, how would we find them? What horrors would we risk upon losing this world by opening doors and searching? I admire your courage, Cylindus, and your enthusiasm, Ulren. And Vartanel, your thoughts shine only with the purest intentions, but Ire's in ruins, and Shakur's almost became so through trusting Terrans. I agree with Tenebrous. There is too much at stake, and we only have this human's belief that Zamara's secret is so important. For all we know, Zamara could have gone mad, and this entire thing is some insane rambling. You did not touch Zamara's mind as I did, otherwise you would not say such a thing. Vartanel, you were not in the Kalai when you touched Zamara's mind. You could have been fooled, and humans are not Protoss. Rosemary could have easily been duped. If this were madness, then surely so powerful a being Ulrajah would pay it no credence. The decision is mine, but I have always striven for unity among our people. Mahandar, Zekreth, do you wish to speak? I yield to whatever our hierarch chooses. There are points to be argued on both sides. I shall elect in the end attend to the past, not to the present or future. Duly noted. Mahandar, what say you? Curiously enough, I agree with my esteemed colleague Zekrath. I would know what the hierarch would do. Rosemary Dahel Cylindus, whose judgment I have learned to respect, sides openly with your cause. Let me ask you this, and I will know the answer comes from your head or your heart. You truly believe this quest is worth the deaths of more of my people? For such, I fear it may come to. I've listened to all sides. I have touched this human's mind and that of young Vartanel. Even before Rosemary came here today, I've been listening to the evidence gathered by Celindus. After all, this is my decision that we do everything we can to locate and retrieve the Terran, Jacob, Jefferson, Ramses, and Zamara the Preserver. Further, we shall immediately attempt to extract Zamara from Jacob's mind so that what she knows may be kept safely, and that he may survive once he is no longer carrying her. We will do all in our power to save them both. Thanks. I did not do it for you. I did it because I believe it's what's best for the Protoss. Nonetheless, if you can indeed save your friend who has endured so much for our people, that is good. Rosemary, I'm so very pleased. Your truth was heard today. Surely we will recover Jacob and Zamara quickly now that all has understood how important he is. While I'm happy and the decision has been made in my favor, there still remain the problem. How are we going to find him? That is the challenge. I will speak with those who attended the gate when you came through. We will see if there's a record of where Jacob was sent. Even if there were the case, we may not find him there. He and Zamara may have left wherever world they ended up on in an effort to continue the quest. They may very well be trying to link up with Dark Templar to extract Zamara's essence from Jacob's mind. And the need seems to be so immediate. And you're right, we need to move soon. This goes too quickly for me to read sometimes. Perhaps those left on Ire had some idea where Zamara wished to go. We could send forces there to rescue those who yet remain. Oren, if it were only that easy, but you will recall that Zamara wanted to come here, and that if anyone knew of a secondary place where she intended to go, it would doubtless be Rosemary, the Hill, rather than one of our own people. If she does not know, they would not. And perhaps Jacob Ramses is still on Ire awaiting rescue. He really wants to go back to Ire. He was redirected. We've confirmed that much. I suppose the best place to start is to determine where they went, and from there, make our best guess. And what might that be? I think I need not explain to you, Executive, that every gate opens every other gate, unless it is blocked. There are thousands of worlds that this Jacob may have fled to, and each place is vast. It will take us months, years to find him, and waste valuable resources in doing so. Hierarch, you need a better plan than this. It is indeed a daunting task, but when have the Protoss ever shirked such? With the Hierarch's permission and that of the hierarchy, I will lead the search for Jacob, Jefferson, Ramses, and Zamara. Yes, I trust you as I trust myself, Executor, and you have earned the respect of all here. I will begin by determining where the human and the preserver went first. After that, I will begin whittling down on our options. I will try to think like a preserver. A daunting task, no doubt, but I'll do my best. Rosemary will doubtless be able to assist me in this, as she knows both Jacob and Zamara. I believe I can save you a little time, Executive. I think I know where Zamara wishes to go, and I can tell you how to get there. Oh, goody! You could have just mentioned that earlier. When do we go back to Zeratul? We do not. What? What do you mean? He will either come to us now, or else we depart. We've pushed him as far as we can. I went too far, huh? So I thought at first, but perhaps it is what he needed. Zeratul carries more than one burden of guilt, of tremendous harm to those he sought to protect. Compassion is necessary, yes. We do not have the luxury of days or months to press on to where. He's not the only Dark Templar tomorrow. We cannot go to Shakuras. He is the only Dark Templar I know who is not on that world. But, well, the Protoss are a lot different on other worlds, aren't they? Protoss of Ire are not the only Protoss who were banished from Ire. The Dark Templar, to the best of my knowledge, stayed together. I know only of two sources. One is closed to me by technology, the other is closed to me by choice. Then we just go. We need somewhere that sounds logical, and we need to eliminate places one by one. Jacob, there are quite literally hundreds of worlds, and each world is wide. Needle in a haystack. I understand. Even if it is a needle in a haystack, we can't give up. We'll just keep trying, and if we fall down, we'll get back up. That is the lesson of the humans. Adun toward us. We learn, we Dark Templar. It is what has kept us alive. We learned so much while we were on Iron, we never forgot who we were. We learned from Adun that the shadow and light are illusions and how to clothe ourselves in them so that we see others what we wish to see. We learned from the cultist place of the void itself, knowledge and skills that have mastered, skills that enabled us to work against the Zerg in a way that other Protoss could not. We learned the Zerg and their queen, the price of trust too lightly given. From the humans, I have learned that it is possible to be willing to die for others that are not your friends and might have been expected, nor even of one's own race. James Rayner was willing to die to protect Shakuris from the Zerg. He knew he would be stranded on the deadly edge of the gate, yet he willingly understood the risk. You stand here, Jacob Jefferson Ramsey's bearing Zamara. You don't even know her secret, yet I have touched your mind, and if it came to you, you too would give your very life for it. You were correct. I do not serve my people by retreating to this pleasant place to nurse my wounds and indulge my guilt. To brood helps nothing and may indeed invite harm to the very people I swore to protect. Let's not give up, not even in the face of utter despair, not even against the odds so dreadfully I tremble to think of them, or so being a powerful and alien to me that I am nothing but an insect to be squashed. As you said, I must keep trying, and if I fall down, why, then I get back up. I'm not proud that it took a human to teach me such an important lesson, but I am glad that I at least am not too old to have learned it. Humans are a remarkable race, though still young. I too have learned from Jacob, and it has become important to me that he survives. I have heard you speak of your death, Zamara, and you and Jake now know the burdens I carry that have caused me to shrink from my duties to the Protoss people. I am ready to shoulder those burdens again. We begin with a story. I would hear more of it. But before we speak of Olajat, let me tell you what I know of him. Oh, thank God he's not going to say the entire thing. And of course, once we reached orbit, we realized how many were still left on Ire itself. That revelation in my agreement to stay silent about is yet another burden I carry. We three, Celindis, Sartanis, and I decided it would be wiser not to plant false hopes. We assumed, given how many Zerg were rampaging across the surface of Ire, that by the time the rescue mission of sufficient strength could be mounted, there would be none left on Ire to save. I remember that the Protoss themselves were surprised when the targeted slaughter just stopped. Olajat and his followers' attack destroyed 2 of the 3 stasis cells and the Templar within. He was physically a Dark Templar then, but one of the deadliest in our history. I know not of how he learned to merge with more than one other, nor how he continues to exist. The Dark Archons are powerful weapons, but until Olajat, they were finite beings. He must have some source of energy to replenish himself and to continue bring more Dark Templars into his madness. Maybe it was something he learned from the chamber, something long forgotten Xel'Naga technology. If he was on Ire's moon, maybe he'd already begun exploring the caverns. That is a likely theory, but how he learned, this does not matter. What matters is that Zamara knows something he wishes kept hidden, and I believe it is time she shares this with us. We already know that the Xel'Naga shaped and altered us, encouraging certain aspects in our development, and that the Zerg were also such experiments of a Xel'Naga. At least those are the terms that have always been used before. In all the memories I bear, that I've learned the truth of the situation, truth that has been shared only by a select handful throughout our long history. We thought we and the Zerg were experiments, perhaps trial and error. We thought we were flawed in some way, and that is why we were abandoned. But in truth, the Xel'Nagas were simply done with us. They needed a second species, the Zerg. This was no trial and error experiment. experimentation. The Xel'Naga knew exactly what they were doing. They had this uncountable times before throughout millennia, so numerous that our minds can barely stretch to comprehend it. They were not inventing us, they were preparing us. Preparing us for what? For themselves. I don't get it. Nothing lasts forever, Jacob. Not even the Xel'Naga. At least not in that incarnation. Hosts. They were preparing host bodies. Less crude than that, my old friend. The Xel'Naga have a cyclical life. Their lives are almost unfathomably long, and we reckon such things, but they are finite beings. When the time comes for the existence end, they seek two other species. Over time, they manipulate and alter these species so that separated form to the two halves of a whole. They seek purity of form, purity of essence. This time, they chose the Protoss and the Zerg. They are going to destroy you. No, not destroy. Simply two aspects of their essence into our people and the Zerg. And again, over time, so vast that we can barely grasp it, we would change and evolve and come together again, naturally and harmoniously, and the Xel'Naga would be reborn. Chambers. That's where they worked on the Protoss. They were not entirely selfless protectors, as we first thought before the Aeon of Strife surfed, but neither were they monsters. They wanted us to become great and glorious. They would not suddenly descend to possess our bodies, rather we would evolve so that we became them. It is less invasive than that. Forgive me, the concept is difficult to explain, or even for our minds is limited to ours to grasp. And since I cannot link with either of you in the Kala, I cannot fully share my experience of it exactly. What I can say is that it is a cycle as natural to them as breathing to you, Jacob, or as gathering nutrients it is to us, Zeratul. It has existed for so long and has shaped so much of the cosmos, perhaps as natural. You're more forgiving than I. Cannot help but wonder if I too have glimpsed some part of this direct evolution of the process. And this is your secret? Partially. But as I say, I do not think the rebirth of the Xel'Naga would be harmful to us. It is not how it was intended. If it is so much a part of the Lord of the Cosmos, then why should we be concerned? What I've told you is the way things have always unfolded before. Had it been permitted to continue uninterrupted, I'm not even sure even the Protoss as we are now would have been harmed. But this time something went wrong. The Xel'Naga were eliminated before they could complete their preparations by their own creation, the Zerg. Their careful plans, eons in the unfolding, turned to turmoil. Zeratul, you have seen what has arisen in the vacuum. Although I freely admit I would bow down to the weight of my guilt, that is not the sole reason why I have not returned to Shakur's. It's because I glimpsed at something once so perplexing, so abhorrent that my mind's reeling from it. I came here to try and make sense of something utterly senseless, but now I believe I can grasp some of it. Shortly after Rashagal's death, we have no records of a Protoss settlement in that quadrant. What we found. We were surprised to discover a Terran settlement with a Protoss pylon powering our makeshift safe stasis cells. Our horror and revulsion increased when we realized that there were Protoss held captive inside some of these cells, and Zerg and others. All Zerg and Protoss alike were in deep cryo-hibernation, but the shocking revelation was that someone was experimenting on our people in the Zerg. They were experimenting with their DNA, splicing them together with booms of genes to create hybrids so foul and revolting, even I now can barely speak of it calmly. Those, whatever they were, that's the new Xel'Naga, a genetic combination of Protoss and Terran and Zerg. No, those things are truly abominations. There is nothing in them of the natural cycle of the Xel'Naga. I grieve for those Protoss who were so violated. The Xel'Naga are capable in their way, but not implacable in their way, but not that extreme. What you saw, Zeratul, and perhaps what you behold in the caverns is something else entirely. Something very wrong, something that should not be. There was a human coordinating this, or at least something that appeared human. He claimed to have existed for millennia and called by many names. The only clue I have of his true identity is that he chose the name to reveal to me, Samir Duran. Duran, that was the name of Kerrigan's consort. Whoa. Wait, whoa, I thought Ethan was her consort. He left Kerrigan. Duran claimed to be superior to her, a servant of a far greater power. Someone has got the arrogance or the stupidity to try to mess with the Xel'Naga, and if they succeed, Xel'Naga will not be reborn. Instead, a monstrous and powerful perversion of both Protoss and Zerg will be set loose in the universe, and all that we know will cherish will fall in their wake. We have lingered here long enough. We have told the stories that need telling. It's time for action. We do not know who or what is behind these events, but we know that Ulrajar and Samir Duran are involved to some degree. Our prophecy states that the Twilight's Deliverer's reappearance heralds a great crisis, a time when things in opposition must be joined together if we are to triumph. We saw in Adun the first use of energies on Ire Protoss and Dark Templar to protect the Dark Templar and save the Ire Protoss, making a tragic error from which they can never recover. We saw it in Zeratul when he listened to me and what I had to teach. No teacher has ever been prouder of his pupil than I have of him. And he taught me much as well, things that, until recently, I have forgotten. I thought the prophecy fulfilled when Tassar brought us together, when we joined the fight to fight the Zerg and do what we could to save our people. He sacrificed himself to destroy the Overmind, and yet this crisis facing us now is even more atrocious, more abhorrent than losing our homeworld. It could mean losing everything. I think perhaps the Anungshin has one of the more manifestations before it's said it all done. But first we must take care of both of you. There's a place, one of the first settlement the Dark Templar sought after we were exiled from Ire. Though we had spent many hundreds of years exploring the void since we found land, we have not forgotten it. It is a place of lore and knowledge. Indeed, our term Al-Shrila means sanctuary of knowledge. I once considered traveling there myself on a pilgrimage. It is instilled in us that we should do so, as we have no preservers to keep memories for us. I remember you spoke of one such method of preserving knowledge among your people, but you did not tell me where. That is why I sought you out. You have a crystal from the chambers that lie beneath the surface of Ire? Yes, Samara seemed to think a crystal from there would give us a better chance of success in downloading her knowledge. May I see it? Of course. Powerful indeed. I have never felt the like. Not even the Al-Saril, not even the Uraj and the Kal's crystals. Truly, this is special. I would not say unique, for, as you have said, many more crystals exist in these chambers. What a powerful force for good or for ill they would be. I'm even more distressed to learn that Ulrajaz has commandeered. He has something. You are the best custodian of this for the moment, Jacob. You would not be tempted to use it as I would. Save this for yourself, for Zamara. Zamara, Jacob, you must be aware that what you ask has never been attempted. We are to capture memories of ordinary Dark Templar. A preserver is something else entirely, and to retrieve those memories from a human brain could be proved to be impossible. One or the other, or both of you, could die. We know, but honestly, is there even an option? If I don't get Zamara out of my head, I'm definitely going to die, and if I die, all our memories die with me. There might be a chance to transfer Zamara's memories to another preserver, but it would be even harder to find one of those to get to Lane, especially now we know Alvajon has been trying to kill all of them. We got this, and we got you. If anyone can convince the Keepers of Wisdom that this is an important task, it is you. I'm willing to take the risk, because it beats sitting around here and dying on a pink planet. Then let us go to Ehlen, where Keepers of Wisdom will do all they can to preserve a preserver and save a human life. You do? You can? We have shared much with our brethren from whom we were separated long ago, but we Dark Templar have 1,000 years of history separate from you. Not all that can be explained or revealed in a mere handful of years, especially when the present. Speak now, then. Where is this place? I said that I believe I know where Zamara wished to go. It is possible through Zamara does not know this herself. Preservers know a great deal, but it is unlikely she is aware of the existence of this place. This is Dark Templar knowledge, profound and powerful and sacred. When we were cast from Ire, we traveled for centuries. We became nomads, explorers, finding and investigating many worlds. Some would stay only on temper. Others we built structures upon that became anchors of sorts, but nothing permanent. Nothing we could truly call our soul until we found Shakuris and its temple. The site I mentioned, though, is an important place to my people. It's called Al-Srihil, the Sanctuary of Wisdom. The little moon upon which it was built is called Aline. It means haven in our language. It's one of the first places we settled, and we stayed on there for well over a century before we decided to move on. Still, it's not abandoned. It could never be abandoned. Many stay behind to tend to the Sanctuary of Wisdom, and to this day, those of us who are left to find their true home return there on pilgrimage towards the end of our days, if such a thing is possible, and at all possible. There's a nexus of energy there that alters the Kadaran crystals. I would not say refines them, for that's not truly accurate. I think even our Terran friend here knows what these crystals serve in many ways. They can calm us, channel our focus energies, we even use them in our technology. One of these crystals is a data storage. The energies on Helene will render them uniquely fit for this specific task, less so for others. Therefore, it is a library of the greatest sort, a collection of as much knowledge as the Dark Templar can assemble, taken from the very minds and memories of our people, to be recorded forever. Yeah, that would be where Zamara would go, all right. She said she knew you guys had the ability to do something like this, but she had to find a Dark Templar to find it. That's why she wanted to come to Shakuris. Friend Mahandar, why have you not told us of such a place as this before? Friend Artanis, you had no need of such information. After all, your people have preservers, who have living embodiments of memories who advise your conclave. We Dark Templars utilize a technological substitute, one that maintains our individuality. I would need to tell you of our Sanctuary of Wisdom when such sanctuaries walked among you. The tenders of this place, the Keepers of Wisdom, would likely assist Jacob and Zamara with the process of transferring Zamara's essence into a crystal. Rosemary, you spoke of a crystal that you and Jacob found in the chambers beneath the surface of Ire. Yeah, Zamara seemed to think we needed that crystal. Or we'd need that crystal. She may find that all she needs the Alsma, but perhaps not. The Alsar are trained to extract memories from ordinary Dark Templar one at a time, and keep them in the chalice of memories. Preserver, however, has literal billions of memories. Perhaps Zamara was wise to bring a crystal so powerful in an ancient place. Regardless, eventually her path will lead her there, and her and Jacob there. I'm surprised she even knew of our abilities to do this thing. She's a preserver. She knows a lot. Mahandar, I am deeply grateful that you've chosen to tell us of this place, otherwise I fear we would not have been there in time. We can only hope that Zamara learns of its existence as well. In the meantime, I will travel there with Rosemary to see if the Preserver awaits us. If she does not, we will have to take other measures too. No, it is a sacred place to the Dark Temple. We will travel there alone. The Shalik have long tended to the things of the Wanderers from afar, and yet we share them with all Protoss, even your tribe, Shadow Hunter. Zelnaga created us all, Zerath, all Protoss, including the Dark Templar. To forbid any of us to enter into such a thing would be indefensible and foolish. This is not of the Zelnaga's doing, or of any Ire Protoss. This place we build, the exiles banished from our home world that we so dearly love. It arose from our experiences to serve our needs. It is nothing of yours. For me to even speak of it, to encourage a preserver to travel there, to aid her so much, it's already a great gesture on our part. We understand and appreciate the place this holds in the Dark Templar history. I'm far from certain that you do. Then come with us, Mahandar. Let this be more than a gesture. Let this be a healing, a new beginning. The knowledge Preserver has can serve us all. You have the ability to keep that knowledge from vanishing. You knew full well no one in this hall will reach the agreement on if insist on the sole purpose of Protoss oversee it. If you truly mean what you say, if you truly wish to aid Zamara and bring Jacob to an end, to end the malice that Olja and once and for all, withdraw your sole claim to this expedition. Well played, Executor. Well played indeed. Alright, I would ask to remind you to remember this place is very important to us. I will tolerate no disrespect. My Templar will be so informed. There will be no disrespect. I have little love for your people, Terran. If I could exclude you, I would, but it appears that you are inextricably involved in this situation. Know this, you may be leaving Shakuris, but you are still being evaluated by the Protoss. Your actions may confirm our opinion of Terran females as established by Kerrigan. Yeah, I figured that one out by now. Let's just get this show on the road, shall we? It is agreed. Celindis may choose whatever Templar she sees fit to accompany her. Rosemary, you will be of help. I think Mahandar, we will take whomever you appoint to represent you in this matter. Artanis, I beg you, permit me to attend as well. You've already endured much, Fartel. Surely you would prefer to remain here to find friends and family and recover from your ordeal. I've grown to respect not only Zamara, but the humans that deems worthy of accompanying her. I have done much to harm under the influence of Uljar, our enemy. I wish I was his tool. I would redeem myself by acting now for the right cause. Hierarch, I gave my word to Rosemary that I would not leave her side until Jacob and Zamara have been safely recovered. You would not have me be forsworn. I'm tired of reading. Very well, you will have a chance for your redemption. Your desire for such does you credit, but you must swear to obey the Executor. Your fondness for the human must not override your loyalty as a Protoss. The two are not in opposition, you will see. Serving one serves the other, but yes, Hierarch, I do swear. Then go, make haste, Executor Celindis, while your group ventures forth to Helene and the Al-Saril. Others will be investigating other worlds. We will prepare for the arrival of the Preserver. It shall be done. Entaro Tassadar, Hierarch. Entaro Tassadar, Executor. This is the Dominion fleet. Oh my goodness, everybody is going to be at this planet. Everyone's going to be at this place. Well, maybe except for Kerrigan. She might not be. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. Jacob, I never wanted any of this to come to you. My only wish was to discover the wonders of the ancients, to prove that I'm worthy of the throne, worthy of leading the Dominion into something greater. But then the Grey Tiger incident, the Zerg on Ire, all was all, but somehow you are still alive. It is fate we will meet again. I swear this on my life. But how can I protect you from my father? Sir, excuse me. I don't mean to intrude. Not at all, Devin. As always, you're always welcome. Do you have any news? Are we on track? We are. The fleet the Emperor has provided is quite substantial, far more than the last we have scrounged up on Ire. We even have access to the latest Dominion aerial and ground technologies. Once we arrive at Elaine, we will deploy a base of operations before setting off to find Mr. Ramses. We will not fail you this time. We will bring him in safely. I didn't actually notice that. That was something I meant to point out. Elaine, what do we know of this world we are heading? I'll give all my thoughts on this a bit later. Not much. As I've told you before, the information I acquired from the Dark Archon Olbajah revealed this place as a secret Protoss world where artificial preservers are made. This is the place that Olbajah intends to go. If he's still after Ramses and the preserver in his head, it's extremely likely that this is where they will be, one way or another. I believe you, and I believe this is our best shot at finding the professor. With this fleet my fathers provided us, we will emerge victorious this time.
Incoming transmission.
Speak of the devil, let's see what he wants now. Nice. Valerian, I grow impatient. Where is this planet of yours? Father, we are traveling to the outermost edge of the galaxy, to a place few know even exist. It will take time. I'm investing a lot in your little adventure, boy. I'm not giving you all the new toys to go explore at Dust Bowl. You had better bring back this professor of yours and the Protoss in his head, or you will find something else of value to give me. I understand, Father. This venture will not go unrewarded. I promise you that. You know the Zerg aren't done with us. We need all the advantages we can get. We are to survive when Kerrigan decides to bring her critters against the Dominion. Now I've found something that can usher in a new age for the Dominion, and this Protoss of yours could be the key to unlocking the potential. Don't fail me, son. I'll be expecting results soon. Oh, thank God. Oh my God, that was a lot of exposition. I think that was almost an hour. Okay. Well, I am actually quite excited for where this is going to go. This is clearly all leading to a showdown on Elaine. See, this would have been a perfect StarCraft 2. Dare I say, that entire trilogy of books would have been perfect for StarCraft 2. It's perfect. From what we got, compared to what we got, don't get me wrong. Well, let's be real here. There are some parts of what we got that aren't that great. Looking at the Legacy of the Void campaign, wasn't that good. Even the Heart of the Swarm was kind of meh. Wings of Liberty, I'll give it, was nice. Even though I think it should be an end of era kind of thing. I could talk about that more, but this should have been StarCraft 2. This should have been StarCraft 2. This entire Enslavers and the Dark Templar trilogy, or the Alwajar trilogy of books. This should have been StarCraft 2. It would have been amazing. You'd have some parts that are intermingling with what's going on behind the scenes, or with other factions in the galaxy. Because once you leave the Dominion and Terran, they're not mentioned again for a long time until, it's really not brought up until until Brood War, when we're invading them as the UED. Yeah. A little bit with a Terran since we're on Braxis, but it's not brought up, and this kind of fills in the hole. Here's what they were doing this whole time. They were, trying to find some stuff. They were trying to find secrets, weapons of war to be able to go up against Mengsk, and Duran with the hybrids is giving him a potential out for that, because I imagine Duran. Even at this point, he knows that the Queen of Blades, as she's rebuilding, she's going to be the fastest to rebuild, so she's going to need somebody else who can then take her down a peg, and then the two of them will take each other kind of down to a lower level, keeping him as safe as possible. The Protoss would be a completely different part to have to deal with, and they might whittle themselves down on Ulrajah, but this should have been a StarCraft 2. Is what I'm saying. This should have been StarCraft 2. And it was enough, this interlude was enough to make me forget I was playing the Zerg. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, that was another thing I didn't mention in the previous video. But the fact that there was, I did kind of notice it to a degree. I didn't point it out, but all of Valerian's troops, they were all from the original StarCraft. None of them were any of the new toys that we saw in Mission 2. None of them were that. And by previous mission, sorry, I mean mission 3. Valerian's forces did not have any of the new stuff that mission 2 had. He didn't have any Marauders, no Banshees. I think that was all he used. There was no mercenaries, no Viking mercenaries. It was all brand new stuff. So, anyways, that was a lot of dialogue. I need to rest my voice for a little bit, and I need to go get some water to lubricate. There's going to be, I'm afraid I'm going to have a lot more talking to do. So if I appear to be pretty silent in Heart of Darkness, that's going to be why. So I'll explain a little bit of what I plan on doing for my strategy once I return, and then we'll pop into the mission proper. I'm not going to bother rereading all the text blobs that we read at the beginning of this mission, because that's going to be at the start of the video. Yeah, this is going to be a very long video. I'm already up to over an hour, well, actually almost an hour and a half, and I've done most of talking. So, I'll be right back.
And welcome back. You have made it to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button if you really enjoyed, maybe share this video to anybody who you think will enjoy my content, and also don't forget to check out some of my other stuff. I'm not only doing this game, but I also have done a ton of other games. Well, a ton, I'm not sure how many games I've done at this point, but anyways, here's a small bit of collection of games that I've done. And if you look on screen, it should take you to either another video or a playlist. Maybe you'll enjoy that. Perhaps you might not. I don't know. We will find out. Hope you all enjoyed, and until next one, take it easy.